Alright, hey you guys, for those who don't know me, I'm Chef Sunflour and this is my channel, Wake and Bake. I hope my background isn't too messy. But anyways, today I did a freaking cake challenge of this Chinese takeout box. Yeah, it's called a challenge for a reason because it's my first time doing it, and when it's my first time doing a cake, I call it a challenge because it was a challenge. So bear with me. So for this challenge, I did a Chinese takeout box, and I started it out with 2 6-inch cakes, chocolate with chocolate buttercream, yada yada yada. And then I started by making my circle into a rectangle. So I cut all the sides off, making my shape into a rectangle first. And then with a piece of paper, I had this little drawing I just drew up. I used that to sculpt into like this kind of pyramid shape to make the shape of the to-go box. So after I got that cut down, I flipped it over just so it could be a little more stable, and I crumb coated it, and I just popped that in the freezer really quick. Now this is a cake challenge. When I do cake challenges, this is like the first time I did this cake, so stuff is about to get crazy. So when it got out the freezer, I wanted to start with the base. I cut it up and I put it on top. Now, when I put it on top, the first time, for some reason, it didn't even reach. Like, I don't know. I swear I measured it, but it didn't reach. I don't know what happened. But anyways, I just made a bigger piece, and I decided to just cut off any excess fondant I had instead. So I did that, and it was working out for me until I realized, like, oh, I have chocolate buttercream. So I really had to move my knife like inwards when I was cutting, just so that chocolate buttercream wouldn't get on the white fondant. Why did I choose chocolate buttercream? I don't know. And now I know never to use it again for the crumb coat. So I did this to both the sides. I started doing opposite sides first, and then go in on the other side, just repeating the same step, sticking the fondant on and then cutting off the excess, moving the knife inwards. And it was hard, y'all. It was hard. So after I got that cleaned up, I moved on to the side to side. And I'm thinking like, okay, I see my little box coming together, right? So I'm getting really excited. Get my side together, cut off the excess off the top. And I smooth it in with my little brush. Trying to get all those layers smoothed out so it looks more realistic. Put on my last layer. And I'm just like, ooh, you know, this is looking kind of boxy. You know, we're making it. We're making it. I'm really getting excited about this. So yeah, after I'm done covering it, you know, I'm looking at it and I'm very proud, and I put it in the freezer to freeze. So while that's cooling down, I start cutting off my folds of my takeout box, and I just printed off a template from offline, and I cut out my cardboard to be the same as the template, and then I just traced it with my knife and the fondant. As you can see me cutting here, and my knife was kind of dull. I had to sharpen that thing up later, but yeah, it couldn't even cut through fondant. So after I was done tracing all my sides and my folds, I wanted to glue them together because I was going to keep the fondant on the cardboard, so it kept a more, I needed something to like stick in the cake because I couldn't like stick the fondant in the cake, so I needed the cardboard so I can stick the fondant. Yeah, so I left a little part open and I stuck the fondant to the cardboard while leaving an edge down at the bottom. And then after my cake cooled down a bit, I went ahead and flipped it over, and then I cut, almost lost my cake there. I cut a space for my flap that I was going to put in, and I would just stick them in there. And everything definitely did not go how I thought it was going to go. My flaps would not stay up for some reason, so eventually I had to get a ribbon to help me out, and I just tied the whole thing around all my flaps, and that really helped it stay in place for the time being. And I just popped that thing back in the refrigerator again, thinking that maybe it'll like dry out or something. I don't know. So I moved on to the veggies. So I started out with the carrot, and I just made something that looked like a log. Start cutting it like carrot. Really simple, just little square pieces, dicing those up. It was really easy. And then I moved on to the peas, and I just got some green fondant, rolled it into a ball, and pinched the sides. And that was really simple to make too. Didn't really take long to do those. And for the noodles, I used my clay extracting tool, you know, the fancy name, and I just used the small or medium sized hole, I don't know, and I just, you know, made some pasta noodles with that. The hole, when I used the clay extractor, my noodles were coming out a little fatter than how you would actually see some noodles, so I kind of stretched out a little bit and rolled it, and then it gave it more like a skinnier texture, and to me it was better, so that worked out for it. So I got my to-go box out, and because of that ribbon, it's staying together, and I just started adding my noodles, and the more I added them, I was like, they look a little pale, like not like noodles. The brown I had, for some reason, it just came out like a burgundy. So, I don't know. So I was thinking like maybe I can just color it with my brush. But then I was like, oh, this kind of look like soy sauce right here. So I put it in a bowl and with my noodles, and I just, you know, moved that thing around like I was buttering some noodles. And it worked out for me. So I put it in there, and it looked way more realistic. And I added on my peas and my carrots. And I was like, oh, we got something. But then this next part, you guys, I don't know what happened. Okay, this is where I messed up. So I ordered some stencils offline that say peace and love in Chinese. But yeah, I never used these stencils before, but I probably should have used a printout. Looking back at it, I don't know. I think that a printout would definitely be better. Cause my fondant, I don't know why, but it got really wet. I'm not really familiar with fondant either, but my fondant got really wet, and when I went to go paint the stencil on, I could just tell that it wasn't going to turn out right when I peeled it off. And then I peeled it off, and honey, no, okay, like no. But I was like, don't panic, because we have a whole nother side of this to-go box. You know, we could try this again. Trial and error. So I flipped it around, did it again. But maybe I was just being a little too messy with my brush. Let me be more neater. And no. So yeah, you guys, this is where I gave up. I was like, you know what, I'm done. I wanted to do a whole like realistic to-go box for you guys, but this is as far as I got. So my first time doing a takeout box, it was fun to do the challenge, and I bet next time I will definitely be a master at this. And thank you for watching. Wish me luck next time, you guys. Bye.